stories of Africa. Why Untold? It's because the focus on stories from Africa are misery, wars, deprivation, atrocities, genocides, corruption, unjust governments. That's what we focus on in news. The flip side are the personal stories. And in the time of media, social media, the fifth estate, where anybody can take a camera and become a storyteller, we seem to have changed the narrative of our values. And our values are sadly surrounded around victimhood. If you look at half of the channels that are going on, they're talking about someone who went through a very trying time. And you ask yourself, did this person go through a good time? But the narrative then changes on our value systems, and it would appear we are people who are heartless, we are lawless. And I want to change that. There are told stories of Africa. There are people who have dedicated their lives to make a difference. I can't be a storyteller and not tell you a story. One time I went for a burial, very sad moment. And in this burial was pretty young family man who was a soldier, and he died. And when we went to the funeral, if you go to funeral in a different culture, you'll experience things that are not ordinary to what you experience. Like this particular one, it required us to sit overnight, the whole night, and watch and stay with the deceased. And the wife had to do that. And I sat next to her, wondering how she was going to, not only is she going through devastation of loss, but now she's going to have to stay up next to a coffin the whole night. And I wouldn't want to snitch on her, but at one time I told her, you're going to have to lie down, because she was expecting. And we had to lie down and then get up before the grannies who were watching over us found out we hadn't stayed up the whole night. And this man came among the women who were sleeping, and he belonged to some religious sect, and he started prophesying over people's life. I see your son getting in trouble. I see the problems ahead of you. And a woman asked, and a woman very courageously, people sleep on the mats on the floor during this, in every hut in that homestead. This woman got up and said, "Young man, haven't you seen any good thing in anybody's life? I thought you'd wake us up. We're already in a mourning environment, and tell us someone is buying a cow, someone's child is going to make it and become this and that." And I think that is what has become of African stories. It's like this man who is just going around prophesying doom in a bid to either get support or to inspire people because we became victorious from our trials. The majority of our stories are around victimhood. I might be a drop in the ocean, but I want to show you there are people like me. I call them sons of Africa who are writing. I say writing with a W, not R. They're writing the wrongs of Africa. They're telling the stories of Africa. They're talking about things that have been, narratives that have been told that were twisted, and I want to bring them on my set. And I want to be able to talk about why they wrote the books they wrote, or why they do the work they do. So unsung heroes are ordinary people, because a lot of times, like I've said, when kindness meets courage, then heroes are born. But also activists are born, because these are whistleblowers, people who talk about things that could get them in a lot of trouble. So those are the kind of guests I want. And I hope we'll have fun along the way by showing the other side of Africa. In every story, there's a good, the bad, and the ugly. But I think we're focusing on the bad in the African stories. Let me tell you where it was born. I'll come up with the statistics of the coining of the word poverty porn. It was when it started with the missionaries, and then the NGOs perfected it. When you took pictures of depraved, malnourished children, you took pictures of these children and you said you wanted people to feel the kindness that I'm talking about, to plug into the suffering in Africa. And children who are privileged will be told, children from America will be told, you're refusing to finish your food and people in Africa are starving. In this same Africa, people who are in the cities are being told, you're refusing to eat food, and children in this part of the country are starving. So that's a narrative. I'm like, there's more to us than misery. There's more to us than unjust people. There are courageous people. Of course, good news is boring. So I'll not just give you the good news. I'll just show you the courage it took for some of these stories to be told. That's the purpose of my channel, really. To celebrate the unsung heroes. To highlight what it takes. What is the cost of telling these stories? What is the cost of speaking up against a government? What is the cost of when you're told after every election cycle in Kenya, for example, people die, and the narrative is accept and move on. What about when we refuse to accept and move on? There are people who died at the post-colonial Kenya, and they died because governments were trying to make arrangements for who was to be in power. We've never forgotten these names. If you're Kenyan, you will know about J.M. Kariuki, you know about Tomboy, and that must continue. So I talk about people who have faced the dark side of us and the people who've helped. The media houses, the reporters who refuse to give up on these stories. The heroes of Africa, the sons of Africa, writing the wrongs of Africa, the untold stories of Africa. Thank you.